Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making delicious lemon squares. This is something that my mother made so many times when I was growing up, and it was always a favorite, and it still is to this day. And by the way, this is a picture of my beautiful mom, and I'm making her recipe today. Now I'm starting with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I've already measured that out, and a half of a cup of powdered sugar. This is going to make the crust for these delicious lemon bars. Now I'm just going to whisk this together, and I'm going to add some very finely chopped pecans. This crust is similar to a shortbread, and the pecans just make it over the top. And you know, I'm using some Shoot Pecan Company pecans, and I'm adding about a half of a cup. If I get a little more, that's quite all right. Just going to give this another whisk. Now I've got the butter. This is 2 sticks of salted butter, and I've melted it, and that's going right in. Yep, you heard me right. 2 whole sticks, which is the equivalent to 1 cup of melted butter. Now I'm going to stir this all together. And there we go. I know that that looks a little strange, but believe me, when it cooks, it's going to be absolutely delicious. Now, this will fit in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish, and I have almost the equivalent of that. We're going to try to make this work today. I'm feeling a little courageous. Now, I'm going to take this and put it right in my baking dish. And by the way, I've buttered this. And now I'm just going to pat this into my baking dish, and we're going to form a crust. When I was growing up, we never had candy in the house. If we had candy, it was a real special treat. We might get a box of Whitman's chocolate at Christmas time. And if we got extra pocket change, we could go to the store and buy a candy bar. But we didn't have a whole lot of sweets in our house, or Cokes or things like that. That's just not something that I grew up with. But my mother would make a lot of delicious treats like these lemon bars. I loved them then, and I love them now. Now I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and this is going to cook for about 20 minutes. We want it to get light and golden brown on the top. And while this is baking, we're going to work on our lemon filling. Now for this delicious lemon filling, I've already measured out 2 cups of granulated sugar, and I've got 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Next, I've got a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to give this a whisk and make sure that that flour and baking powder are mixed in with the sugar, and that there's no lumps in my sugar. There we go. Now it's time for our eggs, and I have 4 eggs. There's 2 and 4. These are pretty large eggs. I'm hoping that they're not going to be too large for my recipe. Now I'm just going to whisk this together. Now I have squeezed 3 fresh lemons, and I've got about a half of a cup of lemon juice, and I'm going to start with half of this, maybe just a pinch more. You can get some lemons that are really tart, and then others that just don't have much of a flavor at all. So you want to add a little and then add more if you need it, because you can always add more, but you can't take away once you put it in there. And I'm going to whisk this together. The acid in the lemon juice really almost cooks these eggs. It's amazing what it does to it. And look at this gorgeous color. Now, I want to give this just a little taste and see how we're doing with our lemon. Ooh, that's good. Delicious. But I'm going in with a little bit more. Like I said, you can use up to a half of a cup. This recipe can take it. Now I have some lemon zest that I want to add, and we're going to add half of the zest of a lemon. In that goes, and one more whisk. Now I'm just going to let this sit for a minute while my crust finishes baking. Look at this beautiful crust. This is nice and hot. It just came out of the oven, and I'm going to pour this right on top. I'm very carefully going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to let this cook for about 20 minutes, just until it barely gets nice and light golden brown on top. Wish me luck. My lemon squares are ready, and they've cooled down just enough for me to get a little taste. Y'all, I will say that they're delicious. Now I am going to add just a little bit of powdered sugar to the top of these. Powdered sugar corrects a lot of boo-boos. Not to mention it's delicious. Now, in order to get those perfectly cut squares, you need to let this cool down completely. But y'all, I just can't do it. I just cannot. So in we go with this. And look here. Look at this beautiful lemon square. Now I got the sides a little done, but you know what? I like that. They're crispy and kind of gooey and good. Now let's give this a taste. These take me right back to my childhood. I can't make them quite as good as my mom does, but y'all, these are a close second. They're absolutely delicious. I love the shortbread cookie crust, and then that sweet, tangy lemon filling is just the perfect combination. I hope that you'll try these. They're perfect for any time of the year, and especially right now. You're a blessing to me. Thanks so much for watching today. Will you press that like button and share this with your friends? Also, make sure you're following me at Kathy's Southern Kitchen on Facebook and YouTube. Well, I can barely wait to go ahead and cut the next few squares and eat them all. I'll see you next time. Bye.